Philadelphia, but still working part-time at LA Fitness.
Yeah.
And so you're a guy who's gotten in the middle of getting a great education, and you have been working hard ever since you got out of school and while you've been in school. And you're from North Florida, but now you're in Philadelphia. And tell us, and you're a conservative. Tell us why are you, and you're an African-American guy from Northern Florida. Why are you a conservative, Jamal?
Good question. I'm a conservative because I was raised with conservative values. I was raised in a traditionally African American and black home from the South. I come from a family of staunch Democrats. My grandfather is actually a former union boss of one of the biggest unions in the country. He was the regional director for the state of Florida for like more than 20 years. So I come from a very heavy union family, a very heavy Democrat family. And so everything in my life, the trajectory, would have pointed to Jamal being a liberal. If Jamal became involved in politics, Jamal should have been a liberal. That's the conventional wisdom. But like I said, even though I was raised by parents who are Democrats, even though I was raised in a family full of Democrats, I was raised with conservative values, like most blacks are.
So what conservative values are you talking about?
Those conservative values are basically just being hardworking, a love of country, being self-sufficient, being able to rely on yourself. I know that's something that my grandmother specifically instilled in me and instilled into my other, my cousins and my brothers and stuff like that, for us to be very self-sufficient, to be independent, to not need anyone to do anything for us. And like I said, those are the things that I grew up with. And those are quintessential conservative values, even though they didn't know at the time, that this is what would become of how they raised me. So.
Yeah, and what do you, as you look back, is your family upset with you that you're now this outspoken conservative speaking at Tea Party rallies? Is your family upset?
No, actually, my mother is quite proud of me. Every time I have a speaking engagement or I have a new article posted online, my mom is usually like one of the first people to go on YouTube and watch the video and make a comment, or go and read my article online and make a comment. She comments on my Facebook and my Twitter, things like that all the time. So my mom is very proud. My dad is very proud. Even though my dad is still, I would still consider him in the staunch Democrat category. He's a huge fan and supporter of Barack Obama. He still is to this day. He voted for the guy. And I don't think my stepfather necessarily probably agrees with my brand of politics, but I know that he's very, very, very proud, of what I'm doing, that I'm speaking out and standing up for things that I believe in.
Sure. So you have good mom and a good stepdad, and they support you personally. That's great.
Yes,
Now,
great.
so you're, but it's funny because one thing that's so striking about you as a speaker and you just as a political thinker is that you do, even though your politics, your beliefs are consistent with these values you were raised with, and those are values that a lot of African Americans are raised with,
Yes.
in a traditional home like yours in the South, and yet most African Americans are Democrats and most African Americans are liberals. Why is it that we assume that? Why is it that people are in that mold?
The thing about stereotypes is because usually there's a little bit of truth to them. It is a fact that, if you just looking at recent polling on, let's say, the presidential approval rating, with every other ethnic group, President Barack Obama's approval ratings are continuously falling among other ethnic and racial groups. However, in the black community, among blacks, his approval ratings remain in the high 90s. Now, it's just like, people will ask, how do you explain that? And the only way I could explain it is to explain how blacks are raised. And I can't speak for every single black household, but I know that with the majority of black households and how I was raised, we were raised to trust our own. And so a lot of African Americans, black, they claim Barack Obama as their own. We've been raised to claim the Democrat Party as our own. I can't tell you how many times, as growing up, with my grandfather being a union boss, how many political functions I've been to. I've even had Jesse Jackson sitting in my grandparents' house and me and him having a 5 to 6 minute dialogue. I've met all the big so-called civil rights leaders and all that stuff like that, and they really didn't John Kerry stands for, but John Kerry is a Democrat, and that's good enough for me. I think that's the mentality that a lot of African Americans have, and fortunately, I do not have that mentality.
So what do you think, in your view, what does the Democrat Party really stand for today?
Well, in 2 words, soft tyranny. But
soft tyranny.
Yeah, a soft tyranny. I mean, because if you really look at what they're doing, I mean, even specifically to the black, if you want to talk about the black community, I mean, the liberal programs and liberal agenda for America have really done nothing to help the black community. I always say that the conservative philosophy is that if you meet someone and they're hungry and they're hungry and they need, let's say they want to fish, the conservative goes and teaches that person how to catch their own fish. So you won't have to keep coming back to this person and begging, you know, can I have some of your fish? Can I have some of your fish? I'm hungry. Democrats, on the other hand, their philosophy is, no, don't worry about how to catch the fish yourself. We'll provide the fish for you. You know, as long as you continue to give us your vote, you know, we'll provide the fish for you. We'll provide the welfare for you. You know, and it has done nothing but cripple the black community. I mean, if you look from the advent of the social welfare state, going back to the Great Society and Lyndon Johnson in the 1960s, it coincides with the decline of the black family. I mean, from that point on, you have high rates of unemployment in the black community. You have high out-of-wedlock birth rates in the black community. I mean, a number of negative consequences have ensued since all this progressive legislation, since we have become this modern social welfare state. And so you explain the blacks. It's literally done nothing to help the black community. It has only been to the black community's detriment.
Yes, I know it's very unfortunate. I agree. You know, you look at the destruction of the American family, not only among the African American community, but broader communities. It's you know, when children, all the data is in. There's no doubt when children are raised without a mom and a dad and a family, and this is hard news. I mean, I know there's plenty of people out there divorced, and it's an absolute epidemic in our society. But the sociological fact, when all the studies are in, and they're all in, children raised without a mom and a dad in a home don't do as well as children who are raised with a mom and a dad in a home, and you know, it's interesting too. We've had a woman on the program, Caitlin Flanagan, who's a liberal from LA, and she's interesting too, liberal background and everything, but she's done all this research and found that when children are raised with their biological father in their home, across the board, doesn't matter whether you're black, white, yellow, rich, poor, if you are raised in a home with your biological father and biological mother, your chances of doing better, well in our society are much, much higher. And your instances of abuse and everything else are much, much lower. So it's just a tragedy what the Great Society has done to America. Jamal, we only have a couple seconds, but give me your 10-second vision for the future of America.
My 10-second vision for the future of America is America that remembers that it is an exceptional country, that America that no longer goes around the world apologizing for itself, that America is a nation that's strong to be strong. And that America, my hope for America is that America will remain that shining city on the hill that President Reagan talked about so much.
Jamal, thank you.